How you doing, guys? Welcome back. It's LSP. It's currently the 1st of June 2022. So if you were around in the live session earlier today, I was saying that the US equities market seemed like it was pretty strong. We had a pretty decent green candle, and I was saying that the likelihood was that we were going to see at least 13,000 if it continued. Now, here's the interesting thing. When you're doing analysis, okay, one of the most important things to remember, if you have a basis to start with, so as you guys know, I've been kind of banging on about the same two levels over and over again, 20,000, 48,000. And me as an investor, my only interest is trying to figure out which one of these two levels is going to get hit first, right? So obviously when I do analysis, whether it's in live, whether it's in video, recorded, the main focus is I'm looking for that nuance, that little confirmation, something, anything to just tell me, okay, price is going lower, price is going higher. So what does all of this mean? I mean, how do we, effectively use this in a practical way, right? So right now, and the reason that I'm doing this quick update is because when we look at the 4-hour chart like this, and I want to go back to this chart for a second because the 34,000 level up here is still in play, assuming and as long as this level holds now. Now, this level wasn't on the chart, before I start recording. I've popped it on there. This is a 4-hour level, and you can see prices come into it. So far, it's maintained that level, and we really want to see this reverse now. Now, here's where confirmation comes in, and we can really start to put some things together, right? Kind of really forward think and say, okay, if we see, X or Y, then we're going to have a much stronger position to say price is probably going to come to 34,000, right? I know it's still in play. I'm aware of these two levels, 48,000 and 20,000. I'm still trying to figure out which one of these two levels is going to get hit first. I still believe it's going to be, I still believe Bitcoin's going to end up at 20,000 at some point. But ultimately, we're at the mercy of the markets and we have to wait for something, right? So with this happening now, and here's where this confirmation comes in. Let's say, and the best way to show you is like this. And just for argument's sake, it doesn't have to be one complete candle, but let's just say for argument's sake, we get something like this, right? And just assume these are green candles, it's fine, right? Let's say we get something like that. So we get a nice reversal, it just negates this drop just here, right? And let me see if I can just move this slightly over so it's a bit cleaner. So let's say we get that. That will be a very strong indication, right, and confirmation that this drop just here is just to pick up secondary liquidity on the buy side and then continue on its merry way to 34,000, do whatever it needs to do up here in terms of offloading. You can use traditional supply and demand models if it helps you to understand in terms of buy and sell. But ultimately, if it gets reversed like this is going to be a very good indication, right, and confirmation that price is probably going to end up at 34,000. This is the type of thing we need to see. This is what we're looking for, right? So when we see these little pockets of volatility, right, and if you notice recently I did a video and I was saying in that video, or at least the title of that video, it might have even been today. Just give me 1 second, guys. I've got so much going on and so many videos posted. I'm losing my marbles. I apologize. Give me 1 second. But one of the videos I made a reference to volatility. Yeah, it was today. Short-term volatility, and then I was saying, is the cryptocurrency market setting up for a crash, right? Or is crypto setting up for a crash? These titles, they're not random titles. I try to explain at least. I hate clickbait, right? And I try to put titles that make sense, in my videos. I try to list them in a way that illustrates or at least, promotes what I've got, what I've got going on in my head and what I'm trying to think, in terms of the markets and so on. It's almost like you can sense that volatility is coming. But when we see movement like this, it's very easy to just look at it and think, oh, God, here we go. That's, But again, if you're looking at a 15-minute chart like this, it looks pretty dramatic. If you're looking at an hourly chart, again, it looks pretty dramatic, right? But if we just jump back up to the daily, it's not as dramatic at all. All it is just a nice impulse coming back to rebalance, and then maybe we get that secondary push to the upside to start to drive towards 34,000. If not, we've still got our confirmation, right? Because if price continues and it gets through this, now we have a clear, definable moment in time. We've got a clear point of liquidity where we can say, if this is traded through and it starts to drive a little bit lower and it's kind of sitting around about 28,000, then what does that tell us about this move, this impulse up? That it's a false breakout, that it's not intending to go higher, that all it was is effectively just a trap, maybe to potentially trap retail traders on the long side. But instead, we're getting this kind of reversal. Drives lower, hits 28.5, starts to drive a little bit lower. And then at that point, we can say, yeah, this low is probably going to get taken out while price runs deeper into this liquidity down here. And then maybe it comes back in and we start the entire process again and we start to grind sideways maybe, right? The point being is now that we've seen this little bit of volatility that's come outside of this consolidation, it's giving us a much different picture as opposed to this really tight consolidation. We go to this chart, we can see very tight consolidation bouncing back and forth between these fractals. And you know what? To be fair, when we look at this chart, we can see the first run in, well, we had this run into the liquidity here, moves away. Deeper run into liquidity, moves away. Starts to bounce, goes sideways, impulse, cleans everything out, reverses. Yeah. So this is all classic, absorption of liquidity, slight order flow shifts, rebalancing, and then ultimately nothing's really changed, because if we look at the mean of the consolidation, it's roughly around about 29,000. So again, maintain patience, a little bit of caution as well. Just be careful in terms of Bitcoin, because again, if this continues now and really starts to go, as I said, not in the last live session today, but the one prior to that, and I was giving the example of, that candle all the way kind of down here, 20,000's on the cards. Do you know what I mean? At some point. So just be careful, just be cautious. Just a very quick update just to kind of jump on US equities. Again, this is predominantly Nasdaq. As the Nasdaq's been obviously reversed that candle today on the 4 hour, and then obviously continued as well, because we're getting such a drop, on the Nasdaq. This is what what is affecting cryptocurrency the most. Between all the correlation, in terms of US equities and the cryptocurrency market, the tech industry, the Nasdaq 100, is the one that's pulling down or pulling up Bitcoin more than anything else at the moment, at least. Yeah, so this is the main one. This is why I keep staring at the Nasdaq, and trying to figure out whether or not we're seeing something that could give us an indication we're potentially going higher or lower. So keep an eye on, US equities as well, predominantly the Nasdaq. And again, we just continue to be patient. If we just quickly jump over to Binance, we can see that Binance again, it showed that little bit of weakness while Bitcoin was moving. And as I said, I'm getting that confirmation now that Binance was showing weakness because the move on Bitcoin wasn't a real one. Maybe. Yeah. So again, we keep doing this. You guys, just to go back to Evergrow Coin, the really long study that we did on Evergrow Coin going all the way into 38. This is how you do it. We just grind and we keep grinding and grinding, looking for those nuances, looking for confirmation, looking for, direction of flows, all of that good stuff, until eventually we get to a point where we can say, do you know what? I'm really confident that price is going to do this now. And without all of that, we do nothing. We sit on our hands and we keep those two levels in mind. 48,000, 20,000. With that said, I hope everyone's having an absolutely fantastic day or evening wherever you are in the world. And I look forward to speaking to you in the next update. All the best. Take care. Ciao for now.